What's up, everybody? This is Tech G back with another video to help you successfully pass the CompTIA A+ 1201 certification exam. So let's get into it. Let's talk about cables. Yeah, I know they're not as flashy as a GPU or as exciting as the latest iPhone, but if you ever tried to set up a network, connect a display, or even just charge your phone and realize you didn't have the right cable, then you know the pain. Now, the truth is, without the right cables and connectors, your entire setup falls apart literally. So in this video, we're going to break down the major types of cables and connectors you need to know for the CompTIA A+ exam. And we're not just listing names. We're going to talk about what they do, where they're used, and why they matter. So with that being said, let's go. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the classics, and that is copper-based cables. And the reason why is because copper cables, they are still widely used in networking environments. And within the copper-based family, you have what is called twisted pair cables, and these things are everywhere. You can find them in offices, homes, and classrooms where they're connecting devices to routers, switches, and much more. And within twisted pair, you have what is called unshielded twisted pair. Now, this is the most common form that is used in Ethernet networks because it's inexpensive and flexible. You have what is called shielded twisted pair, and this has an extra layer of shielding to reduce electromagnetic interference. And this is ideal for environments with a lot of electronic noise. Then you have what is called direct burial STP. And this is used outdoors, especially for underground installations. It's waterproof, durable, and this is designed to handle temperature changes and moisture. All right, next let's talk about various categories of Ethernet cables. So Ethernet cables, they are classified by category numbers. And as you can see on your screen right here, you got Cat 5, Cat 5e, Cat 6, Cat 6a, Cat 7, and Cat 8. Now, if you're building a home or office network, you want to roll with Cat 6 or Cat 6a because that is your sweet spot. And within that, we have various wiring standards for twisted pair cables, specifically how the 8 wires are inside the cables are arranged. So you have what is called T568A, and this is often used in residential setups, and T568B, and this is more common in commercial installations. Also, an important note that you need to keep in mind is that if you are trying to build what is called a straight through cable, then both cable ends must match. And basically, a straight through cable is when you're connecting dissimilar devices, like if you're connecting a computer to a switch. Now, if you're trying to make what is called a crossover cable, then one end of the cable has to look like this and the other one has to look like that. And basically, crossover cables, these are for connecting similar devices, like if you're connecting a PC directly to another PC. So keep that in mind, and also keep in mind you may have to have these color codes memorized. So go ahead and get that in your life so that you can successfully pass this exam. All right, so next let's quickly talk about what is called the coaxial cable. And this is an old school cable that's still out there. It's used for cable internet, TV, and some security cameras. And basically this thing has a single copper conductor in the center with shielding around it. Now, as a fun fact, this type of cable has been around since the 1800s. And then we have what is called plenum rated cables. Now, plenum, this sounds fancy, but it's just a fire safety rating. And plenum rated cables, they are used in air ducts and ceilings. They have a low smoke or flame retardant jacket, and they are required by building codes in many commercial spaces. So basically, the bottom line when it comes to plenum is this: if a cable is going through a wall or a ceiling, then you need to check to see if it needs to be plenum rated. All right, next we have what are called optical cables, also known as fiber optics. So when you want lightning fast speed and no interference, then fiber is king. And within that, you have two types. You have what is called single mode fiber, and this transmits one beam of light. It uses a laser light source. This is ideal for long distances where it can go up to 100 kilometers. And this is common in ISP backbones and large enterprise networks. And then you have what is called multi-mode fiber, and this transmits multiple light paths. It uses LED light sources. It offers a shorter distance of up to 2 kilometers, and this is perfect for in-building networks or data centers. All right, so let's move on and talk about peripheral cables. And within that, we're going to talk about USB or Universal Serial Bus. And this is the Army Swiss knife of cables. You got USB 2.0 with a transfer rate of 480 megabits per second. And this is often used in keyboards, mice, and older flash drives. And it offers a Type A to Type B or mini USB or micro USB type of connector. You have what is called USB 3.0. It has a 5 gigabit per second transfer rate, and it's faster with with newer versions. And this usually has a blue tab on it to indicate it's USB 3.0. And basically, this supports faster data transfer and better power delivery. Another peripheral cable is called the serial cable or the DB9. Now, this is old, but it's still out there and it has a 9-pin connector. This is used for legacy devices like modems, barcodes, scanners, and some routers. And it's still important in industries like manufacturing and aerospace. And then there's Thunderbolt cables. These were developed by Apple and Intel. And they use a USB-C style connector that supports video, data, and power all in one. It has speeds up to 40 gigabits per second with Thunderbolt 4, and this is popular with MacBooks and high-end PCs. And then we have video cables. So whether you're connecting a second monitor, a projector, or a TV, these are your go-to cables. You have your classic HDMI, which stands for high definition multimedia interface. This is your all-in-one cable where it provides audio and video. It's found in TVs, monitors, and game consoles. And the versions can go up to HDMI 2.1, where it can support 8K resolution. And it's very easy to use and very common. You also have what is called DisplayPort. Now, this was developed to replace the VGA and DVI cables. This supports high resolutions and refresh rates. This is common in gaming monitors and high-end laptops, and this can convert to HDMI with an adapter. You also have what is called a DVI cable, and this is the cable right here with the white connector. The DVI stands for Digital Visual Interface, and this is a transitional format between VGA and HDMI. And this comes in 3 flavors. You got DVI-D, which the D stands for digital, DVI-A, which is for analog signals, and DVI-I, which is for integrated signals. Now, this is still used in older monitors and graphics cards, so you will see this out there somewhere. Then you have VGA. And that stands for Video Graphics Array, and this is an analog signal only, and this is an old school cable as well, but it's still used in some projectors and legacy systems. It's bulky, it has 15 pins, and it can be fuzzy on modern HD screens. And then we have USB-C for video cables. So your modern USB-C ports, they can handle video, power, and data. And many laptops, they output video via USB-C with DisplayPort as an alternate method. And basically, USB-C, these things are super convenient for single cable docking stations. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some hard drive cables. So storage drives, they need connectors too, inside and out. And the first one is the SATA or the serial ATA cable. This is used for connecting internal hard drives and SSDs. It has a maximum speed of up to 6 gigabits per second. It has a flat L-shaped connector, and it's still widely used despite the NVMe or the non-volatile memory express, which is gaining popularity. And then you have what is called eSATA or external SATA. And this is used to connect external hard drives with SATA performance, and it's faster than USB 2.0. Now, this is rare these days, but you still might see it in older storage systems. And next, we have to talk about adapters. So you're not always going to have matching connectors, and that's where adapters can save the day. And some examples are you got HDMI to VGA adapters, USB-C to Ethernet, DisplayPort to DVI, and Lightning to 3.5 millimeter audio jack. Now, as a tip, you always want to check if the adapter supports active conversion when going from digital to analog, like if you're going from HDMI to VGA. All right, so let's go ahead and move on and talk about some common connector types that you're going to need to know on the exam. And the first one is the RJ11, which is this one right here. And this is used for standard telephone connections. It has 4 to 6 pins. It's smaller than the RJ45, and this is occasionally used for DSL modems. Then you got your RJ45 connector right here. And that is your standard Ethernet connector. It has 8 pins, and this is used for network switches, routers, PCs, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Then you have what is called the F-type connector. This is found on the coaxial cable. This is used for cable, internet, satellite, and TV setups. Basically, you just screw on the connector for a tight fit. And then we have some connectors for fiber optic cables. And the first one is the ST, which stands for straight tip connector. And this is a fiber optic connector with a round bayonet style plug. And this is popular in older fiber networks. And it's easy to insert, twist, and lock. You have what is called the SC connector, or the subscriber connector. This is a square-shaped fiber connector. This is common in data center and telecom setups, and it has a push-pull style, which is easy to use. You have what is called LC, or Lucent connector, and this is a mini version of SC. This is used for high-density fiber connections. You'll often find this in enterprise environments. And then we have what is called a punch down block. And this is found in network and telecom wiring closets. And this is used to terminate twisted pair wires for structured cabling. And this requires what is called a punch down tool to punch the wires into place. And then you have what is called micro USB. And this is used on older Android phones, cameras, and accessories, but it is being phased out by USB-C. You have what's called mini USB, and this is bulkier than micro USB, and this is used in older digital cameras and GPS units. And then you have USB-C, and this is reversible and compact, and this can deliver power, data, and video all over one wire, and this is becoming the universal standard. And next we have a lightning connector right here, and that is Apple's proprietary connector, and that is found on some older iPhones, iPads, and AirPods. And this can support data transfer and charging. Then you have the Molex connector, and this is used in desktop PCs to power older hard drives, optical drives, and fans. And it can still be found in some custom PC builds. And then you have what is called a DB9 connector. Now this is a 9-pin serial port legacy connector that is used with serial devices such as routers, lab equipment, or some point of sale systems. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap all this up. So why do cables still matter? Well, it's easy to dismiss cables as boring, but here's the thing. Without them, nothing works. You're not going to be able to access the internet without network cables. There's going to be no display without video connectors, no data transfer without USB, and no power without Molex or Lightning. So as a CompTIA A+ candidate and future IT professional, understanding cable types and connectors is non-negotiable. You're going to use this knowledge for troubleshooting, building systems, configuring networks, and even explaining things to coworkers who thought HDMI and USB were interchangeable. Now, as a tip for the exam, you want to memorize the key connector shapes and purposes. You want to know your cable categories and their speed and distance limitations. You want to understand the differences between copper and fiber optics. And you do not want to skip on older standards like VGA, DVI, Molex, and DB9 because they still will show up on the test and occasionally in the field. So the next time you're staring at a rat's nest of cables behind a desk or server rack, just take a second to appreciate the tiny heroes that make your entire setup come to life, and that is the cables. All right, so with all of that being said, let's do some check on learning. So our first question is, which of the following cable types is most suitable for long distance high-speed transmission using light? Is it Cat 6A? Is it coaxial, single mode fiber, or USB 3.0? And the correct answer is this will be single mode fiber. So single mode fiber, this uses a laser light source to transmit data over very long distances up to 100 kilometers with minimal signal loss. It's ideal for high-speed backbone connections. Now, Cat 6A and coaxial are copper-based and limited in distance. And USB 3.0, this is a peripheral data cable, not for networking over long distances. Next question. You are installing Ethernet cabling in a commercial building's air ducts. Which cable type should you use to meet fire safety regulations? Would you use unshielded twisted pair, coaxial cable, shielded twisted pair, or plenum rated cable? And the correct answer is you're going to use plenum rated cables. So plenum rated cables, they have special insulation that emits low smoke and resists fire, making them safe for use in plenum spaces like air ducts and ceilings. UTP and STP, these are common Ethernet cable types, but are not always rated for plenum use. And coaxial cables, they also lack the required fire resistance unless specifically plenum rated. And our final question is, which connector is commonly used with Ethernet cables and follows the T568A or B wiring standards? Is it RJ11, RJ45, F-type, or DB9? And the correct answer is RJ45, and the RJ, that stands for registered jack, in case you didn't know. The RJ45 connectors are the standard for Ethernet connections and are used with twisted pair cables that follow the T568A or T568B wiring standards. RJ11, this is for telephone lines. F-type, this is used for coaxial cables. And DB9, this is a legacy serial connector.